All right, y'all, well, welcome back to the channel. So as you've seen, we just got loaded up actually at the job site, and he's still got a tremendous amount more of that live oak to cut up. I've already got a trailer load full, about as much as my springs and tires look like they wanted to handle. I don't want to overload it anymore, being that I have such a long trip back home. But it hurts me. I'm leaving probably 4 or 5 times that much wood here, maybe more than that. The equipment's going to be gone in a little bit, and they just won't be there to load it up, so I'm not going to make a trip back over. But real nice guy, so thankful for him. He's going to start stockpiling the wood where he typically does at a burn pit, and the plan is I'll come over and get some every so often. He also just told me about another spot that I've actually kind of been eyeballing and seen, where there's some already cut down dry cherry and oak. He knows the owner. He's going to call him. I'm going to bring the trailer over in a couple of days over here toward my parents, and cut up a lot of that firewood too. So sounds like I've got a good hook up here. Now that's live oak back there, probably the toughest wood there is to split, bar none. Not the most convenient and easy wood to get, but I didn't want to turn it down. It burns hot, coals up nicely. It's one of the better firewoods. It's stringy and tough to split, very thick bark, so it'll make good fire pit wood, and we'll probably wind up burning some of it, and I may sell a rack or two for people doing outside burning. But it's definitely going to give the log splitter a workout. So we've got a pretty decent ride back home right now. I'm going to keep an eye on this load, and we'll figure out how to get it off with the tractor. Some of those logs are extremely heavy. Had his Bobcat on 2 wheels at times, so I may have to chainsaw them up, and we'll start bucking some rounds here at some point. Might be in this video, might not. Just kind of see how long it takes to get everything unloaded. But there's the first load. I'll continue to do this for a while and kind of start my little side firewood business. Well, all right, we are unloaded, so let's take a peek at the damage here. Some really good, solid, and relatively straight pieces of live oak. And that's not always so common with live oak. It's not uncommon for them to have a bunch of crotches and splits and limbs everywhere, or be bowed like some of that stuff back there. But I can get some really good, straight, solid firewood out of here. The other bad thing about live oak is it has really thick bark. Some people don't like burning it, but that's the way it is. But as big as these pieces are, I'll get a lot of good barkless wood out of the center too. So this was a green tree that he had to take down that was hanging over a house. So I'll definitely have to let this season for a minimum of 1 year. Live oak is so dense, you can easily split it and let it season for 2 years. But we'll check the moisture on it next fall and winter and kind of see how it is. So quite a bit of it here. one little rotten hole right there, but I think that only goes to, yeah, there's a limb right there that must have came out the side back in the day. It's really, really solid, good looking wood. I'll get a lot of firewood out of this. So here's where things get interesting. Even though this is just a little part-time hobby business that I think I'm going to attempt to start here, you've really got to sit down, crunch numbers, add things up, and think through to see if it's, you know, worth your time, worth your while. I know how much I can sell these racks for, and if y'all have never really asked, but these racks, I've measured them out the other day, are a little over 1/4 of a cord. These racks get a lot larger as we go down here, and they're in between 1/4 to 1/3 of a cord. So as I build some new racks in the future, I'll probably make them either a face cord or still stick with a 1/4 cord. 1/4 cord goes for about $75 around here, which is about $300 for a full cord, which is pretty common price that I see kind of all across the country. And then usually delivery's a little extra. Some people offer bulk discounts if you buy a full cord. I'll work through all that down the road. That does not include the price of selling in bundles, which you normally get a premium for. I hear some people say they get twice or more of the money. Takes longer to split it. Typically your bundles, you'll try to do barkless, you got to wrap them, build something to hold them. So there's a little more time in it, but not twice the time. So what I'm doing right now is I'm crunching numbers, and I think we'll do a little series on this. Once we get all this cut and see how many racks it fills, I know exactly how much I spent in fuel today. I know exactly how much time I have up to this point. I'll add my hours up, see how many racks we get. I know what I can sell a rack for, and then I'll make a determination if it's worth my while. Just doing some rough math, I think that it is. We all have a figure that we think we're worth per hour. For some of y'all, that may be $10 or $15 an hour. Some of y'all, that may be $50 an hour is what you feel your time's worth. I've got a figure in mind. We'll explain all that later. The other thing that's very difficult to really factor in all this is wear and tear on your equipment. Chains, chainsaw gas, oil. Some of that stuff's a little easier to figure out, some of it not so much. Having to own a trailer, wear and tear on the truck, you know, fuel I can easily figure out. So some of these things you just kind of have to wing it, take a good guess at, but try to pad it to where it's in your favor and you're not shooting yourself in the foot. So like I said, I have me $1 an hour figure that's worth my time. I'm gonna try to wing it on some of the things like chainsaw chains and wear and tear on my equipment, and then the other stuff, fuel, it's easy to figure out. So we'll see how many racks we fill up. That's about as much as that little trailer wanted to handle. I could tell the springs were compressed, tires were pooching, and that trailer is designed to carry almost 6,000 pounds. That's some heavy green wood right here. So I don't ever think I'll be loading up much more than that. So whatever we get out of this is kind of a good baseline for me to kind of get a figure and see where we're at with all this. So hopefully y'all find that interesting. Some of y'all think about selling firewood on the side, and I know at least one of y'all, or y'all talk to us on the live stream about some things you want to do around your homestead. I'm pretty sure yeah, absolutely, you mentioned firewood as one of them because you were looking at splitters. Now there's things I could do in the future. Get a dump trailer that'll haul more, get a splitter that'll process more, but then there's cost and all that. Some of y'all already been pestering me this morning in the comments. You need to get all that stuff. Boy, do I want it. I want to do chainsaw, truck, trailer, everything. It would take me years and years and years of selling firewood just to pay for that stuff. So I'm going to take it easy at first, see if there's money in it, and see where we go. The other thing that I'm thankful for that I get to factor into this is YouTube income. Y'all seem to like firewood and watching, but I'm going to be careful about how much I factor that into my time here, because it's not as guaranteed as physically selling the wood. I know exactly what I'm gonna get for a rack of wood, so I'm gonna be careful with that, but that's just kind of an added bonus to help pad some of those things that I may be a little off on factoring in. So hopefully y'all find that interesting. We'll talk about it. We'll kind of make a little series out of this. You know, how much can I get for selling firewood? You know, is there any money in doing it part-time as a little hobby, or maybe you might want to pursue it full-time? And I'll try to be as open and honest about the numbers as I can. I think that's enough for this video. I have got to get back on the storm shelter. I have a truck up there that is slapped full of hardy board siding, metal, everything else. So storm shelter build is going to be coming right back at you. Then we're going to come down here, start bucking all this up, and get to splitting it. Goodness gracious. Live oak's the toughest wood there is to split around here, to me, in my opinion. So some of these bigger pieces, we're going to see how that old Tractor Supply splitter likes it. It's going to work me and the splitter out, no doubt. Then we'll add up our time, add up figures, and kind of get a rough idea for firewood cost and a potential future business here. So thank y'all so much for watching. We'll catch you on the next video. Should be a storm shelter build.